Oh yeah, Diddy got a podcast.
So Andrew Tate just revealed what the elites allegedly told him as to why Charlie Kirk was taken out, who took out Charlie Kirk, why Candace Owens hasn't been taken out as of yet, and why it is that he is afraid for Nick Fuentes. And the craziest part is that I believe him. Everything that you're about to hear Andrew Tate say, I do believe that Andrew Tate is telling the truth, allegedly. However, ironically, I also believe that this clip that I'm about to show you of Andrew Tate also exposes Andrew Tate, and I'm going to share with you after the fact all the reasons why I do not trust Andrew Tate and who I believe Andrew Tate really is. Before we hop into today's video, I would like to take this time to say that many of my subscribers are telling me that they were never notified that I went live this morning. So please go and check out that live. I cover the similarities between Charlie Kirk and Martin Luther King Jr., not only in their career and their organizations, but the people that were funding them, the FBI's role, their demise, right? Even down to the bullet that allegedly took them out. There are too many coincidences here and too many similarities. I would highly encourage you to go and check it out. Link will be in the description. As always, hit the like button on your way in if you do not mind. Again, this video is going to be a little bit longer, but it's going to be well worth it. I promise you. Let's just get through this clip, and then I'll see you on the other side, and I'll explain to you why I do not trust Andrew Tate.
Clown show.
Everyone has an accusation except for Nick Fuentes, and he's a virgin, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I think one of the reasons, probably the only reason Nick is still on the internet is because he avoids women. Because if he had had a sexual history by now, they would have caught him. Nick's problem is that you get 3 lives. The first life is to cancel you. They've already canceled him. But now he's kind of back. So he did good. But they canceled me and I came back. I invented coming back from cancellation. I was the first to ever get canceled and get bigger. First one. Nick got canceled, didn't get bigger. He disappeared for a long time. I got canceled and got bigger. Realest nigger alive. I invented that. Second, they try and put you in jail. Third, they kill you. The problem that Nick has, and I actually really like Nick, is that if his taxes are in order and he ain't touching women, they haven't got much they can get him with on stage 2. And that doesn't mean they let you off. That means they skip stage 2 and they just kill you. Let's talk about Charlie Kirk. Why did they not just put him in jail? Because no one's going to believe Trump's DOJ prosecuting Charlie Kirk. Doesn't make sense. He's Trump's friend. Why would the Department of Justice try and prosecute Charlie Kirk? He's squeaky clean. Taxes paid. He's not like me. I made it easy for them. He's fucked 1,000 women. Call him up. Get him. Right? He ain't 1,000. He ain't running around with all these girlfriends like me. They went through his life. How are we going to get him in jail? How are we going to get him in jail? How are we going to get him in jail? You know what? There's literally nothing here. Next. Bang. I'm lucky with me. I gave them the layup. If I had lived squeaky clean like a dummy, if I had done everything right, they would have just killed me. But instead, they're like, we have to fix this handshake problem. Killing people is messy, and it makes them a martyr. It can make them bigger. And even as a government, killing someone in another country, even the Brits killing someone in Romania, I know how this stuff works. Trust me. They have to speak to the Romanian government. They have to try and clear it all. They have to understand their agent might get arrested. Then there's an international incident to get him out. Even the Russians, when they killed that guy in Germany, you can look it up. He got arrested. He was in jail for 3 years before Putin could swap him. The governments, when it comes to personal assassinations outside of drone strikes in third world countries, even they don't like to really do it. Macron could kill Candace, but even he is like on American soil, an American citizen. It's still a big deal for a government. So when they said, let's get rid of Andrew Tate, our options are to kill him or put him in jail. Well, let's see how we can put him in jail. And they looked for 10 seconds. They're like, oh, now he's a treasure trove. He was a fighter. He sold weed when he was 18. He's every girl he could. He was running around drunk. He drove cars too. This guy, just get him. I gave it to him on a plate. I'm not stupid. I know I did. Of course I gave it to him on a plate. Everyone. So Nick's problem is he hasn't given it to him on a plate. Because people talk about my human trafficking accusations. You can look it up right now. The British government took 3.2 million pounds of my money for tax evasion too. So they got me for that. They got me for this. They're like, just fucking get him. And I just keep giving it to him, laying it up. I'm a dumbass. So, but it saved me or I would be dead. Nick's problem, and I really care about Nick, is that it's almost like, you know, I have lots of businesses and I have a restaurant. And in my restaurant, I let my staff steal a little. Because if I let them steal none, they quit. And if I let them steal too much, I don't make any money. So I make sure that I allow them to steal enough so that they feel happy to go to work and they think they're winning. But I am also on it enough to stop them stealing so much I don't make profit. Like you have to give, and you have to give a little. If you're too strict, it gets worse. And I gave the enemy the second strike and Nick didn't, or he hasn't, or he won't, or he can't. And Charlie didn't, and we look what happened to him. So I'm worried about Nick. I'm actually genuinely worried about Nick. And I think that Nick is smart enough also to worry about himself.
Why do you think Charlie Kirk was assassinated? Do you think it was because of feminism?
Let's talk as professionals here. Sorry for the pause. I'm just scanning what's going to keep me alive. So I know who killed him. And the only person who is overtly giving theories as to who killed him publicly is Candace. The reason Candace is breathing is because she is a woman and because she is black. And the people in charge have thought, they've concluded, you know what, let a black woman scream. Most people will, you know, even if they listen to her, you know, it's a black chick and we're just going to let her scream into the air and we'll just put it down to black female hysterical action. So we'll just put it down to that.
You think that's it?
Yeah. We'll get some bots on Twitter and we'll get everyone to call her crazy and we'll pretend she's hysterical and we'll push all of this narrative that she's nuts with some paid influencers and we're gonna get everyone to call her crazy, even if she's right on the money, even if she gets it perfectly right. Even in one of her episodes, if she describes it perfect, we're just gonna convince everyone she's nuts because she's a black chick and we can convince people that she's just hysterical, like the Walmart ran out of cocoa butter and she's mad. So let's just do that. If you're a man in a sharp suit like yours, or I put a suit on, I sit there and I break it down in a very logical, there still is that degree of misogyny in the world where a man is taken a little bit more seriously with some things. And then if you get it directly on the money with a different tone and they can't really call you crazy, if you don't give them the second life, if you don't give them an easy layup, well then pay the price. That's the first thing to analyze. Now let's analyze a couple other things. It's not my job to say who killed Charlie. It's the job of our agencies, which we subsidize with our taxes, our tax money, to convince me that they know who killed Charlie. Not just to say who killed Charlie, but it is your job to convince me that what you are saying is the truth. The Magna Carta says, not only will justice be done, justice must seem to be done. That is the basis of Western law. Not only do we operate from a place of justice, but people at home see and experience the justice. I am giving millions or billions of dollars, or the American public are giving billions of dollars to agencies whose job it is to find out what happened, tell us what happened, and punish the person who did it. Now, if nobody believes their story, that is very detrimental to the faith in public institutions. And it is the faith in public institutions which keep a democracy functioning. We believe in elections because we believe they're fair. We go to court because we believe it's fair. Otherwise, it breaks down into Mogadishu. Otherwise, it's AK-47s and machetes. If you believe you don't get a fair chance in court, you just kill your enemy. The fuck are we going to talk about? So it is their job to make us believe them and have trust in them. And nobody believes the story. And they're not coming out to publicly disavow the other theories. They're not coming out to show evidence to prove that they told the truth. They're not coming out to stand up and double down and say, no, you guys are wrong. We got it right. This was our friend. This is important. That's their job. And they're not. I mean, if I was in charge of an agency and nobody believed me and I knew I was telling the truth, I'd make them believe me. Weird. I don't know. That's just a theory of mine. Strange. And the third thing I want to talk about is that Charlie undoubtedly was going to be president, and he was undoubtedly massively influential. And he had an influence different than these streamers and clowns.
Did you see him as influential? Because that's the point I want to touch on, is everyone I asked is like, you're influential. Charlie's not influential. He makes a certain set of people mad, but he's not our hero.
Correct. I am more influential in the hearts and minds of young men than Charlie ever was. True. But Charlie could do something that a lot of streamers can't do. I can do it, but most streamers can't. And what he could do, and this is very important, he could operate in the physical realm. He could force people to be kinetic. He could get people to go to a place. You think that's a small thing. If Sneaky said, hey guys, come here, no one's going to go. 3 people will go. 10 people will go. No one gives a few. But if I say, guys, I can fill a stadium, Charlie can fill a stadium. A stadium is an army. When you can make people move from their seats, when you can shake people out of apathy, you have a different level of power. You have a different level of influence. And Charlie could undoubtedly do that across the country. So Charlie was very influential in that regard. And when you look at Charlie Kirk and what happened to him, you have to understand that every single thing that happens in the world is simply just an endless battle, a never-ending tapestry. It's like the food chain where the fish eats the slug and the shark eats the fish and the alligator doesn't normally eat sharks, but him. It's constantly everyone after each other in a battle for influence. The media is trying to influence you of things. Advertising is trying to influence you of things. Streamers are trying to influence you of things. Celebrities have their points of view. The label on this bottle, exquisite effervescence, is trying to convince you of something. It's all a battle for influence all of the time. And if you're a true power player, you have influence. I had more influence over the young men than the BBC. The BBC said do something, they didn't listen. If I said do something, they did listen. So they hit me. So Charlie had influence. And everyone who didn't like or was threatened by what he was about to say, or how he was about to use, or how he was currently using his influence, wanted him gone. It's all just an influence battle. Charlie was an influential person, and that's why he's dead. So to get to the bottom of who shot him in the neck, the question is, who was threatened by, or was soon to be threatened by, what he was doing and saying? And if you work that out, you can get to the bottom of it. Funnily enough, in a lot of these scenarios, people go, liberals. Liberals aren't threatened by us. Liberals like the fight. They like arguing with us. Liberals like feeling like they're somebody. Liberals are the most argumentative, mentally ill retards on the planet. If you put 10 liberals in a room, all they're going to do is fight against each other because someone's going to accidentally forget to use a pronoun, but they'll all ally against you. Liberals need you, and they need me. Liberals need Charlie so they can stay friends. Liberals need the common enemy. Liberals don't want to get rid of their enemies. They want to sit and argue with their enemies. They want to feel important. They want to feel morally superior. Liberals aren't out to kill important conservative figures. Personally, I mean, I know they're saying it was some liberal, some guy. Thought experiment.
Maybe not.
I mean, let's look at the Butler, Pennsylvania story. That dude got up on the roof with the rifle, faggot on the roof. I made a joke of it, and he in front of the Secret Service, and he just put his rifle together and just tried to kill the president, and then they instantly blasted him after he pulled the trigger, so they were already aiming at him, and just some guy, and he was radicalized, and just some guy. It's all just credit. It's all just a lie. It's all just made up. And if I'm wrong, then the FBI or the DOJ or someone should stand up and say, here, Andrew, you're wrong. Here's why. And I should sit and go, oh, I understand. I'm sorry. I apologize. I stand corrected. Not sit and go, everyone at home knows we're lying, but we can't risk telling any more details because they're going to work out we're lying even worse. So let's just let everybody not believe in us anymore.
Let me ask you this, Andrew. In your position, do you find yourself more worried about a radicalized individual or like another group?
I am far more worried about a government action than a radicalized individual. I'm not worried about the person at home who decides to say, hey, Andrew Tate. No. And if I ever get killed by somebody who they say, we found on his computer a letter he wrote about how much he hated Andrew Tate. We found his passport in the wreckage. We found the passport. It's a joke, bro. If I ever get killed by some individual who hates me, it was a government. Governments love the scapegoat. Like, let's imagine a group of people wanting to kill our president. They'd send some piece of shit up there to get blasted knowing he's going to die. They'd convince him to do it. And then they just blame it on some lone wolf. All the intelligence agencies on the planet are currently trying to recruit idiots to do things exactly like this. If you go to Turkey, or you go to Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan, Kyrgyzstan, any of these countries, and if you hung around there for a while, and if you knew the people I know, eventually you'd end up in conversations with people who would try and convince you to do extreme things, dangerous things. And they work for foreign intel agencies. Whether they work for the Ukrainians and want you to commit an act of atrocity against the Russians, like the Moscow attackers did not too long ago and killed all those people in the stadium, whether they work for the Russians and want you to commit an act of atrocity against the Ukrainians, and they'd convince you that you'd be paid well and you'd be a hero and you should do it, and they'd sit there, they'd try and find some guy who's half mentally ill or a little bit retarded or broke or desperate. Every intel agency on the planet as it currently stands is trying to recruit people specifically to do stupid things so they can blame that person after the action takes place. There are no lone wolves. This is all intel agencies. This is all they do. You know, it's interesting because we can even look at Islamic terror. They don't blow themselves up. They find some young guy and convince him to go blow himself up. I thought you got a bunch of virgins. Like, I'm Muslim. I'm saying if you got a bunch of virgins for blowing yourself up, surely they'd be doing it themselves. Why are they convincing someone else to do it? It's just the way the world works, right? So,
And how persuasive are they?
unfortunately, you don't have to be that persuasive. Very much like my situation with the girls. It's a numbers game. You talk to 10,000 people, and eventually you find one. And you go, okay. If you can add in some psychiatric meds, if you can add in promises that they're going to make it out and they're going to be a hero and all these things, if you can add in fake friends, like I think they were saying that Tyler, who killed Charlie, was on Discord talking to his friends who were convincing him to do it. Were they friends? I mean, who were these people?
Did they ever even meet them?
Well, have they ever been arrested? I don't know. So you add in a social circle, you add in some psychiatric meds, you add in a financial incentive. You usually get a love interest. You get some girl or someone. If you do this, you'll be my hero. You add some little bit of basic ass pussy. You put it all together and you go to 10,000 retards. You get your guy. And the guy in Butler, Pennsylvania, for example, literally got blasted the second he pulled the trigger. Shot at Trump, bang. So they were already aiming at him. They just didn't want him to talk. You know the guy who killed JFK, Lee Harvey Oswald, killed? He was killed in jail. Did you know that?
And the guy who killed him
was killed in jail. So he was killed in jail, and the guy in jail who killed him was killed in jail. The chain, so I'm not worried about some lone actor, because if a lone actor kills me, and it makes the news, and they say the lone actor was watching many videos that said Andrew Tate is misogynist. A government did it. This whole lone actor crap, no, it's all bullshit. I know there are groups of powerful people who are very concerned with the amount of influence I have over the world. And what I've tried to do is measure the risk-reward ratios. I've tried to sit down and think, okay, if I'm going to talk about certain subjects, how can I talk about them in a way where I can point people in the right direction so they can come to their own conclusions, but I don't cross the threshold where I need to die, but I can actually help the fight, even though they call me a sellout? Or how I could talk about a subject and it pisses these people off, but it actually makes these other people happy with me, and that gives me some top cover there. So I can go to this country and live my life in peace, for example. It's complicated. Or I could shut up and I could spray cologne and take 200 million and just Sydney Sweeney and just be a A-list. I could just do that and stop getting called a sellout. If the people I've helped don't soon show some appreciation and gratitude, what I'm going to do for the plot, Jack, for the plot, is show them for the plot. I'm going to go do movies, take 500M and just hang around with A-listers. And they go, Andrew Tate sold out, Andrew Tate. I'm going to retweet and go, yep, tried to help you idiots. Are you still poor? Are you still at home, broke? It seems so, because you weren't nice enough to me. I deserve gratitude for what I have done. I didn't have to do it. I was rich before I did it. I gave up my whole life, and people need to start being nice to me. And if they don't, they're going to see what a sellout is. And I'm going to enjoy it. I'm going to laugh the whole way, because I'm not selling out in my heart. I'm just teaching them all a lesson.
Now, at the beginning of this video, I said that the clip was going to be pretty long, but it's worth listening to everything that he had to say, because yes, I believe what he's saying in this clip. But you say, well, why don't you trust him if you believe him? I don't trust Andrew Tate because I have reason to believe that Andrew Tate is a Freemason. And I believe that Andrew Tate is playing his role. Andrew Tate, throughout his career, for those of you that don't know, he began as a kickboxer. And when that was not lucrative for him, he pivoted, and obviously he got into webcam for girls. And he allegedly made a lot of money from that. But Andrew Tate in this clip is doing what Andrew Tate has been doing throughout his career all along, which is one moment he is playing the hero role, and then the next moment he's playing the villain role. He goes from hero to villain back and forth, which only causes confusion intentionally. So one of the reasons I don't trust Andrew Tate is because, the first and foremost, Andrew Tate's father was in the CIA, and he admitted that himself.
My father worked for the CIA. He was a linguist.
So that's already a reason, because there is no such thing as ex-CIA. Once CIA, always CIA. So like I've always said, you don't have a person to go as viral as Andrew Tate has over the past 5 to 7 or 8 years with a father who's in the CIA unless it was meant for that to happen. It was one point in time, Andrew Tate was like the most Googled man or the most Googled person on the internet, with billions and billions of TikTok views alone. Another reason I don't trust Andrew Tate is because many times he's referred to himself as Morpheus from the movie Matrix, claiming that we live in the Matrix, and proclaims himself to be this individual that can help people escape the Matrix. Except the 3 steps that he gives people to escape the Matrix is not only contradicting one another, but it doesn't actually help people escape the Matrix. Not to mention that Andrew Tate literally looks like one of the characters from the film. Do you believe that that's a coincidence? With the first step, with him telling people to become obsessed with wealth.
So point 1.
You need to become obsessed with wealth. I can't explain how many times during this episode of human history I have managed to skirt the rules purely because I have huge sums of money. When you have a lot of money, you then get a lot of influence over others. With influence over others, you can begin to skirt some of the rules. So the first thing is you need to become obsessed with wealth creation. I want everyone here to understand something. I'm not a philanthropist. I don't really care about making you people rich, and I certainly don't need your money. So if you think that I run Hustlers University or the War Room or these networks for money, you're absolutely mistaken. I have enough money to live for the rest of my life.
Now, you don't need me to tell you that's not escaping the matrix. In fact, that is making people fall deeper into the quote-unquote matrix by constantly chasing money. And the irony in the first step, where he tells you to become obsessed with wealth, is that he also claims that he doesn't actually need your money. So if he's at a level where he doesn't actually need your money, but he's telling you to always become obsessed with wealth, what kind of message is that sending to his followers? The second step into escaping the matrix, he claims that you need to join a network of powerful individuals that provides you access to pretty much whatever you need.
Secondly, you become obsessed with making powerful friends, a powerful network of like-minded individuals. That's what I'm doing. I'm going to state this again. I'm trying to make people rich, and I'm trying to make people think the same way I think, that we can all work together to try our very best to resist the global enslavement of humankind.
I find this very strange because this is very similar to other powerful organizations that we speak about on this channel often. And I don't know how you're escaping the matrix by making people more like the very elite people who have created the matrix, which leads me to the third step. The third step, he claims that you must stop blind compliance.
The third thing you must do, and this is extremely important, you must stop blind compliance. You must stop blind compliance.
This also contradicts his point, because while you're telling people to stop blind compliance, that's the very thing that they're doing by joining your organization, which, by the way, his organization is called the quote-unquote War Room, where his followers are paying $5,000 either total or per month to be a part of this quote-unquote War Room. A War Room, by the way, where the information that is provided is information that they can find on Google. But not only that, what is the War Room about? Well, let me allow you to hear Andrew Tate explain out of his own mouth how the War Room is extremely similar, not different, not the opposite, not trying to fight against. No. It's literally similar, except better in some ways, to the Illuminati and to Freemasonry.
The Freemasons, but cooler.
Cooler.
Yeah, no, so like, it doesn't matter. Let's say your Facebook account gets banned.
Yeah.
You can email Facebook like a brokey, or you can go to the War Room and say, my Facebook account's been banned. Do you understand what I'm saying? Let's say your bank account gets blocked. Let's say your passport's blocked.
Yeah.
Let's say you need a Lamborghini in Santorini on 3 hours notice. The War Room is my own secret society.
What's that?
It's a secret society.
Like Illuminati type?
Correct.
Another reason I do not trust Andrew Tate is because Andrew Tate was featured early in his career on a show called Big Brother, which we've heard the term Big Brother before, but I want you to check out the symbol for this show, Big Brother. So a guy whose father was CIA, who has become one of the most popular individuals on the internet really overnight, which we're going to get to that later, but he was also featured on a television show called Big Brother with the all-seeing eye. Maybe that's just a coincidence, which leads me to my next point, the hand signs. I typically tell my subscribers and anybody that comes across my videos, pay attention to people's hand signs and the symbolism around certain characters. It's almost a given. They have to tell you who they are. Throughout Andrew Tate's career, ever since he's risen to quote-unquote prominence, the man has been giving us hand signs from the jump. But not only that, he has literally told us himself about the hand signs and why he makes the hand signs, including even when he was arrested. Him and his brother have been making, in my opinion, these Freemasonic hand signs.
Which is at Cobra Tate. You can find a picture of my father, and he's sitting there with a hand symbol. He's sitting there like this. He looks his fingers, and he puts his thumb and his hand together. I do the same thing because I am my father's son. And I do it in a lot of my Instagram pictures. And that Instagram post is a few examples of me doing it and my father doing it. The reason I do it is because when your brain is as advanced as mine, you have to complete the circuit. I'm full of electricity. My blood's on fire. I'm completing the circuit.
Tiger blood.
Try it at home. Try this right now, children, ladies, if there are any, but gentlemen, try it. Try the hand symbol. Complete the circuit of your body. Make the electrons flow. And I do it because it increases my power. It's like a power up. So it's like a power up. And my dad used to do it when he played chess. And I used to do it before I fought. So I started doing it, and people start saying, that's an Illuminati hand symbol. He's a Freemason hand symbol. I'm not associated with the Illuminati or Freemasons because I'm associated with a group called the War Room. Our group. And the War Room is basically very similar in many ways. I'm not going to talk too much about what the War Room is.
Now, does that convince you in any way that Andrew Tate is not being controlled or pushed by somebody? Because even though he'll tell you, I'm not a part of any of these groups, I have my own group, even though I can't tell you what the group is about, does that make you more suspicious of him or less suspicious? Speaking of Andrew Tate being arrested, the only reason they claim that the feds were even able to locate Andrew Tate is because of this tweet right here that he put out, and they were able to tell where he was located. And I think a number in this tweet immediately stands out, as it says, "Hello, Greta Thunberg. I have 33 cars. Need I say more?" Another thing about Andrew Tate is that he posed around this time with pizza boxes. Now, as healthy as this guy is, as much as he talks about being your best self, working out, being the best high quality man that you can be, do you believe it's a coincidence as a person who's located in Romania? Remember, we've spoken about Erica Kirk. Andrew Tate chooses to live in Romania, and he poses with a pizza box. Should I remind you about the guy that's tied to Erica Kirk with a pizza lip tattoo? Do you believe that that's a coincidence? And here's the crazier part I need people to not miss. Do you find it coincidental that Andrew Tate is a part of the whole Nick Fuentes, Sneeko, Myron Gaines, clavicular whole incident that's been going viral all over the internet about them playing Kanye West's record in Miami? All of that takes place. So there's this newfound attention and eyes placed on all these influencers. Andrew Tate is one of, if not the first person to backtrack after they received all this backlash. Sneeko is banned from the city of Miami, which is crazy to ban somebody from an entire city. Yes, he's not only been banned from nightclubs, Sneeko has been banned from the city of Miami. All for playing a record, even though you're hearing records that's promoting violence and all sort of ungodliness all over the radio all the time, especially against black folks. But this record crossed the line. Andrew Tate happened to be one of the very few people that flipped, backtracked, blamed it on Sneeko, says that he has all these Israeli business partners that he's now on bad terms with, or potentially on bad terms with, because of something silly kids wanted to do in Miami. So now that the attention is on him, all of a sudden, he uses this time and this moment and this momentum that was completely organic to speak on the Charlie Kirk, Candace Owens, TPUSA, Erica Kirk situation, and even Nick Fuentes. Does no one find that coincidental? How convenient? I don't think so. I've said it before, and I'm going to repeat this again. Not just in the music industry. I've spent a great amount of time on this channel exposing the music industry, not just the artists, but the executives, the people that are pushing the artists. And I tell you about industry plants. Industry plants are not only in the music industry. When you see someone show up out of nowhere, Lil Nas X, you say, well, Old Town Road is a really good song. Yes, but where did the kid come from? You think just because he had a catchy record, he can just blow up and become one of the biggest artists in the world? No. Look what happened when he blew up. They had an agenda they were trying to use him for, and they successfully did that. He's not the only one. Doechii isn't the only one. Sabrina Carpenter are not the only ones. Sexy Red. There are many more, but it's not just in the music industry. It's also content creators. Andrew Tate being one of them. Whether he chooses to tell the truth sometimes and lie other times, but he's not the only one. Pay attention to these people, even if they're saying things that you like. Pay attention to smaller content creators, smaller artists, up and coming politicians. You don't know who they are. You don't know much about them. All of a sudden they come out of nowhere. And just like that, they're collabing with all sort of bigger names. It is so that they can push that politician to the forefront where the masses can see them. It's so that they can push that artist to the forefront where the masses can see them. More exposure. It's so that they can push that content creator to the forefront. Just do your research on these people. If they're connected to high-level government, their father, if you find out that they were working for the government in any capacity, if you find out that their family may delve into some of these secret organizations, secret societies. That should either tell you everything you should know or should at least have your antennas up to watch them closely and always pay attention to the message that they're pushing, the people that they're collaborating with, because they may string you along just long enough to make you think that they're on your side, that they agree with you, and then out of nowhere, they're going to flip, and then they're going to steer you in a different direction, which was the plan all along. Andrew Tate, I believe, is a great example of that. Nick Fuentes is a great example of that as well. I covered Nick Fuentes 2 videos ago. I highly recommend you go and check that out. I also want to use this time to say I highly recommend that you watch the Charlie Kirk Martin Luther King video that I went live early this morning and dropped, that I do believe is being shadow banned. I highly encourage you to check out all the similarities, not only between their careers, the people funding them, but even their demise, the way they were taken out down to the bullet, and even what the bullet did once it allegedly connected with their bodies, and other similarities as well. As always, man, I appreciate you all for tuning in. Hop in the comment section. Let me know what you think, man. I gave you my thoughts. I'm Demetrius. I go by Didi. I'll catch you all in the next one. Peace.
Oh yeah, Didi got a podcast.